What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another Pay-Per-Viewpoint edition of the Smark Smack Talk podcast, the 6th of the week, I think, 5th of the week, 4th of the week, I don't know, 900th of the week. We're talking NXT TakeOver 36, which just ended a few minutes ago. I am your host, as always, Tony Mango. Joining me, as always, is Robert DeFelice.
It's the end of the end of the end of the end of the beginning of the end, baby.
It's NXT TakeOver The End. We're just going to watch that from back in the past.
Well, that's what I was kind of hinting at, because if you remember, that was called The End. And then day of, they named it The End of the Beginning, because NXT was entering a new era. And we basically got it confirmed from Nick Khan. Yeah, NXT's getting revamped completely. So this was the end of an era of NXT for sure.
An undisputed era as well.
Yes, Tony.
That was another end. We had our undisputed finale. We had 6 matches on the card here that we will be running down. And whether you're in the live chat right now, like Peter and William, thank you for joining us. Or if you are listening to this afterward, it's a Sunday night. I'm sure that many people are going to be listening to this after the fact. Then tell us what you have to say about this by dropping a comment and telling us your thoughts on the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, whatever it might be. While you're doing that, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, ring that little notification bell, hit the like button, hit the follow buttons all over things if you're listening elsewhere. If you are on YouTube, hit the thanks button if you want to toss a little spare change our way. You can always join the members only side of things on that, which is the same thing as the Patreon. So go to patreon.com/smarkoutmoment. You will see all the different tiers, same thing as the YouTube members only thing. Pick up some t-shirts on TeePublic and Redbubble if you want to help us out in that fashion. And look at that. Some of the plugs are out of the way already. I see Cal's Car Corner in the chat as well. Let's check and see what we've seen so far. Hi, really enjoyed the show. Best show of the weekend. Walter is in ring, the best wrestler in the world, in my opinion. This is Cal's Corner. That man literally cannot have a bad match. I will be genuinely angry if the main roster manages to screw him up. So we are definitely in a transitional period here. And we don't know exactly what that means. People could be leaving WWE entirely. People could be leaving NXT. Some people could be just staying. We're going to talk match by match and see where we go with this. But
and yeah, we're definitely going to... There's going to be a lot of overwhelming discussion about the state of NXT.
Generally speaking, though, whether it's the pay-per-view itself or the possibility of the future in this fashion or that fashion... You feeling positive or negative about how NXT is going to be going forward?
Apathetic, which I think is worse than leaning heavily either. Or I'm at a state right now where I just don't care, per se, especially if Adam Cole is leaving.
Which may be the case, because according to the most recent news about the whole thing, he still reportedly hasn't signed some kind of a new contract.
Well, I'm pretty sure I get fired if I don't say. Well, Fightful Select reported that Adam Cole has yet to sign a new contract with WWE. Now, this just in, Mike Johnson of PW Insider reports it was definitely his last match in NXT. So,
which could mean he goes to Raw, could mean he goes to SmackDown.
Could mean he goes to SmackDown. But at least it seems like NXT has definitely lost a pillar character.
Right. And
which sucks.
With all the other pillars that have been leaving for various reasons, whether it's like a Velveteen Dream kind of scenario, or if it's just let's fire a quarter of the roster, then, I mean, we are in some kind of forced change no matter what. Like, we've got new champions. People are leaving. People have kind of shifted the balance of power in some fashions. We're going to be in for an interesting couple of weeks, I think. The game plan that supposedly is happening tomorrow and the next day is that they're going to record in advance.
Oh, that's right.
So tomorrow, if people leak out what happens, we might find out some really interesting tidbits of information.
Yep. I think NXT. It could be something where the spoilers are great. That used to happen all the time where it was like you'd read the month's worth of spoilers for NXT and you'd get hyped for whatever the next takeover was. This could be one of those situations. But at the same time, this could be one of those things where it's like, uh-oh, this is bad.
It could also be Wrestler X beats Wrestler Y, and we think nothing of it. And then the day that... Well, no, and then the day that it airs, suddenly those people get fired, Because WWE has... They have not been shy of releasing people the day that their last match happens. Like Ari Sterling, for instance. Pretty sure that he got released before the match. Like, he was like Thursday and it was Friday or something.
Live.
Right. So no matter what we say in regards to TakeOver, we might have completely different opinions about what happens afterward. Because it might be in 2 days or it might be in 2 weeks or whatever. We might go, oh, that's why that happened. Okay, well then that's a better idea. Or we might go, what the hell? You did this? And then what? Like, just, theoretically speaking, I don't expect this to happen, but it's like the pre-show match, Ridge Holland beat Trey Baxter. If suddenly Ridge Holland gets fired, it'd be like, what the hell did you put that on the card for? Like,
fair point.
But as it was, we just figured it was going to be a squash. It was a squash. Trey Baxter didn't come into this with any momentum outside of just he hasn't fully established himself as an enhancement talent yet. Ridge Holland's the bigger guy, and he wins. Calls out Timothy Thatcher afterward. Nothing really much to talk about on my end. What about
you? A fine squash. A fine squash, I say.
You had like a produce place trying to sell something. This is a fine squash, I say. Capital vegetables here. You got some.
That's what I was going for.
Some amazing zucchini and it's a fine squash, but it's no pumpkin.
There you go.
I think we got Adam in the chat too. I feel like all of us fans are collectively worried about the future of NXT. Yeah.
I think, well, I'll say it early. Here's the thing. NXT was, until Double or Nothing 2019, the brand easily accessible that would allow fans to just enjoy really good wrestling with a great budget attached because it was still a WWE product. Now, if I ever got a question into Triple H, my question right now would be, hey, did you feel a sense of responsibility as a former wrestler yourself to try and give some of the indie talent a grander stage? And do you feel more comfortable letting them fly because AEW exists so their careers won't be in the toilet?
You think it ended up being... Well, you see, everything changes, and then it's like, okay, corporate answer. That kind of deal.
Well, I think so, but I also, those are the kind of questions I think about, because if you listen to Nick Khan today, he openly talked about, well, we got all of the good indie people, and we don't want to just keep doing that, so we're going to go a different direction. And I'm wondering if it's like, oh, we don't need to pick up the indie people anymore because AEW is going to out super indie us. They've proven that by beating NXT in the ratings.
I could see that being their philosophy of, we can't beat them at that style, so let's be WWE. Let's just go back to the Hulk Hogan's, because that's what made us WWE to begin with. And somewhere along the way, we got lost in this indie bullshit, that kind of, philosophy, which then it's like, I don't know, maybe some people like that. It's kind of...
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the next month or so plays out. Everywhere. AEW, WWE, all of it.
Well, the very first match of the actual main card past the pre-show was the $1 Million Championship match, where, actually, you know what? Before we move on that, I'm gonna toss out something I had a note. I forgot to mention this. This was kind of cute. Vic Joseph and Mackenzie Mitchell are in a relationship. It's been known for a little while now, a couple months or so. And when they cut back from Mackenzie and Sam Roberts, Vic Joseph's like, thanks for sending this back over as Sam Roberts and the beautiful Mackenzie Mitchell. And Beth looks at the camera and does this sort of oh kind of face. I was like, that's cute. His little cheeky cute. Sort of response. I forgot that I read that little note there, and that I wanted to mention that. But we do get the $1 Million Championship match. Cameron Grimes going in. Third time's the charm here. If he would have lost, Ted DiBiase would have became the butler for LA Knight. This sounds so ridiculous saying this out loud, but it's true. But Cameron Grimes, decked out with some $1 Million Man type gear, is able to get the victory with a little bit of help from Ted DiBiase too. LA Knight was going to try to cheat a little bit here, and Ted saw too that didn't work.
That was a hell of a working punch, I got to tell you right now. It was great to see Ted get physical. The $1 Million Dream, I don't care if he, barely slapped it on. It looked fantastic because Ted DiBiase's getting physical. And, there's nothing that you can say to me that would make me go, oh, I don't like this. That's awesome. That's so good. So much fun.
Ted DiBiase is, I don't know where he would rank on my list, but he's fundamentally just one of my favorites of all time, character-wise. And you put him out there, it's a win. So I liked it. I liked the match. I was worried at one point, thinking, I wonder why this is first. Maybe they did it because they want to start building up and each match gets progressively more intense. But I was also thinking, you know what? There's a possibility that maybe this should have been the match that was the filler spot, kind of buffer between some other ones. I think that they might made the right decision here. I don't think that if this would have been anywhere else on the card, it would have been as fun based off of the way that they kind of maneuvered things, but it wasn't the best match of the night, but it was still fun.
Yeah. I think it was a lot of fun, a great way to start a show. By the way, very easy show, very easily digestible, very, no fuss, very simple. Sometimes simplicity is great, and I think they delivered that here.
What is more easily digestible, the show or that fine squash?
The fine squash.
And Peter asks, why was LA Knight dressed in Hulk Hogan colors? It did seem like that.
Okay, yeah. No. Yeah. Okay, I saw Peter ask this question in the Mega Maniacs. He's been doing that. He's been doing that since he got there.
Really? Because that's the first time that I noticed it, too.
No, he's been doing that for a while.
I just assumed that this was a playoff of Hogan being one of DiBiase's biggest rivals.
Nope, because I know he did it at In Your House as well.
Huh. Just pulling a Hogan thing here and there.
Was
it the red and yellow, or was it the black and white, or what did he do?
It was the yellow and red.
Not the red and yellow, the yellow and red.
The yellow and red. I believe yellow was the more pronounced color, so I put it first.
I see Christopher's in the chat. He's late, but hello, Christopher. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for everybody else that's on here as well, even the ones that aren't necessarily talking. I know that there's some more viewers that are staying silent. Speak up. Drop a pipe bomb. We do have a new $1 Million champion. We are going to get a $1 Million celebration on Tuesday night. I am firmly in the camp.
Better for Ted.
Yeah, I'm firmly in the camp that this is going to be the look. I won the championship, but it belongs to you, Ted. I earned your respect, and that means more kind of deal.
And that's priceless. He's also priceless.
And then Ted DiBiase Jimmy comes out and he's like, priceless. Oh, baby, I'm priceless.
I could see Grimes going after the NXT championship.
I don't know if I could see that.
I mean, he'll lose, but I could see him going after it.
I'm thinking more so North American.
Yeah, but they got that wrapped up with the Legado, and Hit row.
Eventually, you gotta end that feud.
Do you though?
No, not gonna go on for like 6 years.
Well, tell that to Gargano and Ciampa.
That's true. Where do we go from this? We got the NXT Women's Championship. Dakota Kai challenging Raquel Gonzalez. And to be honest, not much to say. It was fine.
I liked it. Dakota had her working boots on. She tried to kick as much ass as she could. The Chingona bomb off the top. Very cool spot. Very good match. I like the pink hair on Dakota, and I think one of these two needs to go up to main roster.
Yep.
Because main roster needs more women. It's not even a case of like, everybody go to the main roster because NXT's dead. But the main roster needs more women. You know, we got Becky Lynch out here with no challengers. We got Charlotte Flair out here with no challengers. At this point, if Dakota came in, she'd be on equal playing field with Liv Morgan.
At the very least.
You know? So just go ahead and do that.
I really just wish that we could have like the NXT UK roster can just wrestle on NXT UK or on regular NXT, and then people from both could just go to Raw and SmackDown and kind of replenish the brands a little bit. Cut out an hour's worth of time. You don't need NXT UK. Of course, we always talk about the whole cut out main event, cut out 205 Live because you don't need that either.
You do need NXT UK because it's regional. You know, it's a regional brand. So I think you do need NXT UK.
Maybe it's because it's a pandemic and whatever, and they're filming it in BT Sports Studios, but it just really doesn't feel like it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I watch it every week, so I think it's still going strong. But, I mean, we'll see.
So Gonzalez retains, and I'm assuming, of course, like you said, Dakota Kai at this point, what is there really left for her to do? She's probably not winning that NXT Women's Championship, so bump her up to the main roster. And it seems like whether that does happen or it doesn't, we probably know who the next in line to challenge is because Kaylee Ray from NXT UK shows up. So there's a little bit of what I'm looking for, the NXT UK roster going into the NXT USA one.
Right, but in doing so, like, she has left NXT UK.
Which is fine.
Well, what you're looking for, let's call a spade a spade. What you're looking for is NXT UK to no longer exist.
The urge to merge, baby. Yeah. I don't want 205 Live to be around anymore. I don't want main event to be around anymore. And I don't think that there's as much of a need for NXT UK. If they would have been able to do NXT India, NXT Japan, and NXT whatever, you know, NXT Mexico they were talking about, et cetera, then sure. But it's been enough years. I don't think the NXT UK experiment's working out as well as it could have. So take the people that you really are interested in. Hopefully ship them over to America where they can fly out for the specific things. And then if they're not good enough in your mind, release them too.
Yeah.
Kaylee Ray, they like enough. And if they want to bring her into NXT and, you know, maybe she, depending on what people are doing too, because we know that like Walter, for instance, he's just pretty much like, yeah, I'm not interested in living in America. Some people might not. Pete Dunne's been around here long enough. He probably is fine with it. Maybe Kaylee Ray's like, yeah, I'll move to Florida. That might be fun. Or maybe she's just popping in for a couple guest spots like Jordan Devlin did.
That is true. I think Kaylee Ray held the title for like 600 days. There's nothing for her to do there.
Yeah. I mean, she probably wouldn't have if it wouldn't have been for the pandemic, but she still was champion for quite a while leading up to the point to begin with.
Yeah, but she's really good. I think she's underrated in how good she is. Because again, NXT UK is so off the radar. And I hope that it's a good match between them. I can honestly say I don't watch NXT week to week anymore. So it hits different for me now because it's like I will get reacquainted with TakeOver, and the week-to-week stuff might lose me a bit. But I think Kaylee is a great addition to the women's roster. Here's the thing, and I want to go back to this. Tony Khan, Nick Khan said that NXT is going to get a revamp as soon as within the next few weeks. Like, they're planning an immediate, huge overhaul of NXT. So I don't know what I'm getting into. So I'm very hesitant with everything I say.
Yeah, because I mean, it makes sense for something like, all right, Kaylee Ray is going to challenge Raquel Gonzalez, and that's going to be the next feud, and then they'll have some matches, or at least one match on probably television. Maybe they do another special episode of TV. I'm highly doubting that there's going to be a takeover coming within the next couple of weeks, but you never really know. And there was originally supposed to be the draft, so we don't know how that's going to work out and everything, but you know, we might be in a situation where Kaylee Ray coming over or anybody else coming over, maybe they do kind of do some things like that. I mean, we do get the NXT UK championship on this card. Maybe we will see more NXT UK people in NXT and they're just kind of combining things a little bit more. Or, I don't know, maybe we look at this, we end up saying Kaylee Ray coming over here wouldn't make as much sense, and well, that was a waste, or that was, you know, I mean, I'm assuming based off of just the verbiage from some of these things, and like we were talking about the idea of like not doing the indie thing anymore, I'm assuming that the philosophy is stop doing NXT the way you were doing it. We want to make John Cena's and Hulk Hogan's. So going forward, you're not going to see somebody like maybe like a Pete Dunne as much in the mix, but a guy like a Ridge Holland, like, okay, priority. He's going to be one of the 6 people that will push. And Raquel Gonzalez, she's big and they like her and everything, so she'll be one of the few women that we push, and everybody else is going to be very easily not on the same pecking order kind of deal.
It's peculiar to me because I kind of like the idea that they want to build more John Cena's. I think inherently that's a good thing. I think at the end of the day, stripping the fact that they're doing it in such an erratic way, the idea that they're saying, oh, we can't beat AEW at the indie game is smart. But it's they're doing it in such a spaz kind of way that it's like, oh, maybe there's something really wrong here.
And if that is the philosophy, there might be a twinge of, well, I didn't want that anyway, kind of deal, you know? Like when somebody gets rejected, you end up,
Right.
Everybody's seen it. It tends to be something that gets passed around here and there. There was a thing actually recently about it. Some like a yoga instructor, social media influencer, whatever, some model had like posted some video of a guy that he's like hitting on her, and she's like, I'm not interested. You're a little too old for me. And he's like, well, I'm too rich for you, that kind of thing. And it's like, you were just hitting on her, you know? So it's like you bring a bunch of indie people in and then you go like, well, I didn't want you guys anyway. Fine then. You go to AEW. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see how this plays out. Because another thing that was missing from this takeover, which is almost never missing from takeover, where were the tag team champions?
Yeah, no tag team champions, no cruiserweight championship, no North American championship, although we did get a promo later on from Legado del Fantasma. No NXT women's tag team championship because they haven't done jack shit with those two, except for show, one dinner date where they ate sushi and Zoe Stark's like, ugh, this sucks. That's it, I think.
They need to get rid of those belts.
They really need to. It's completely unnecessary. You've had
And the way
4 champions, and the first one dropped it the first day.
and the way that they're just erratically doing things, they could, you know. I think that they don't want to because it would look in bad faith, but they could easily do it.
A lot of companies, and WWE is certainly not immune to this feel like they can't make a change like that without having some kind of positive to spin it into. So we probably won't see a change like that for at least a while, unless they end up saying something like, from now on, like the championship is going to be cross-branded like it used to be, and we're merging the titles at Survivor Series or something,
Yeah.
I don't think that they're going to do anything like that. I think that
I've been a fan of that for a while now.
Yeah, they should have never stopped that idea to begin with. What they should have done is just actually done it. Because for a good however many months, it was like, yeah, remember how you can go to NXT, but we won't? Pain in the ass.
It really is.
Well, the urge to merge is still there. We got Kaylee Ray now in NXT, it seems. And the NXT UK Championship was on the line.
And of course, you start fucking banger. Good Lord, Matt. These two are incredible.
This is on my match of the year list.
Yeah, fucking incredible, man. So much fun. So good.
They start off with the heartbeat kind of thing, which of course makes me happy because I like that whole in the background. I'm like, okay, we're getting psyched up here. And based off of their previous match, I knew that this was, at least it had the potential to be a damn good match. And they beat the shit out of each other again.
Ilja Dragunov looked like he'd been trampled on by farm animals. This man had just cuts and bruises and abrasions, and his face was messed up. His chest.
Oh God, his neckline, just within a span of a few seconds, it went from slightly purple to deep purple with red all around, and it's just, God, every chop and every smack just is loud as all hell. And I wrote down on the one notes, I said, those little punching machines where they calibrate like how hard you were able to do that. Somebody needs to get Walter to do that with his chops, just to see how bad it is, because those look like they hurt like a son of a bitch.
It's so amazing. It's so good.
And Poteen says Walter and Ilja Dragunov don't know that wrestling is a work. It seems like it, because they just legitimately beat the crap out of each other.
Walter is real, man.
Every move is so simple, and it still ends up being super fun. You don't need to do these crazy 450 splash, moonsault, DDT, fall off the side of the building and crash through a flaming table types of things. Walter's like, no, I'm going to pick you up and powerbomb you, and then I'm going to punch you, and I'm going to slap you, and I'm going to smack you and chop you, and then I'm going to powerbomb you again, and then I'm going to slap you and chop you and powerbomb you. And you're just like, goddamn.
Is a body splash.
Yeah, 300-pound one.
Guy. It's awesome. It's like he wrestles at such a level where he fits in with any brand. He could literally go and fight Roman, and if he stepped up to Roman, I'd be like, oh, okay, he might beat him. Walter is one of the best wrestlers in the game today.
And it's a shame that he is not the champion anymore, just because he has been such a fun champion in that regard. But the guy held it for 870 days.
That's insane.
He, unless my calculations are wrong, he is the 6th longest champion of any capacity in WWE history. Because there's
that's not part of a record.
There's Bruno twice, Bob Backlund, Hulk Hogan,
and Moolah,
and Pedro Morales. The Moolah thing, I mean, that's kind of weird. They're like, she's like a 900-year champion because we just, whatever. It was like 30 years or something. It's like
22 years.
Like that doesn't really count. She just, we reactivated the title and whatever. But like a real legitimate championship reign, I don't think there's anybody that comes close to it other than those 5 other people, because we had like, I think it was AJ Styles something like 371. And like there might have been like a 400 something reign.
Brock had one that was like 500 days, didn't they?
like 400 or 500, yeah. And it's 870 for Walter.
Yeah, amazing. And I hope that this means better things for him moving forward because he should be in the States. He absolutely should be in the States. Even if he's leaving and going somewhere, go to Ring of Honor, make their brand mean something. You know? Go chop up PCO and go chop up John Gresham. Go imagine him versus Miro. God.
I mean, at this point, with a lot of the people that are in AEW, just imagine a handful of these people.
Imagine him with anybody. Like,
I'd love to see him against Daniel Bryan. I think that would be just as good, if not better, than the Dragunov match. Dragunov, by the way, he firmly subscribes to the Shawn Michaels selling school, where it's like, oh, I'm going to go all wobbly-legged and fall down face first kind of thing.
if I was gonna learn from anybody, it'd be Shawn. So
he's the best.
Absolutely.
So we get chance of Fight Forever. Holy shit. NXT. This is awesome. All justified because this was just fantastic. And at the end of the day, after a series of near falls that each time was just like, man, okay, that's not the end of the match. All right, okay, cool. We're going to get this, keep going. You know, miss the Torpedo Moscow, hit the Torpedo Moscow, stack the power bombs, so on and so forth. A submission ends it.
Walter taps.
And pretty quickly, relatively speaking, from when Dragunov gets it in there. Wasn't like they was dragged out for, you know, like
he did beat that. He pounded the fuck out of his neck, though.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he doesn't get the submission in, and then it's like Walter's trying to get the ropes, and then he brings it back to the center, and he's holding it for like a minute, or, you know, it was pretty much like, you've got it in, and he's just like, all right, tap, you know?
He cranked on the neck, and amazing. And good for him. Firmly establishes himself as champion.
He later on says, the ring general has fallen, so long live the Tsar.
I loved it, because he had this, like, Bob Backlund maniacal look on his face, and then he just turns to Mackenzie and he goes, "Thank you." It's just like, oh, this motherfucker is crazy. Like, yeah, like I dig Ilja Dragunov, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does on Thursday afternoons.
So our brand new champion, Ilja Dragunov. Just for the fact that we can keep saying that, it's even better.
Yes.
They should just do that for everything. Like when WWE 2K22 comes out, just have, you know, the special rated R superstar announcement for Tony Chimmel, and then just have Andy Shepherd do the
because Alicia Taylor did the she said it with a lot of force, but Andy Shepherd just, there's nothing compares to the way he says it.
And they could cut to the like the little model of them ringside, and he could do the whole "I'm Andy Shepherd," like we were talking about before. So that moves over to the 2 out of 3 falls match. It's the undisputed finale: Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. First fall is a regular match. Second fall is a street fight. Third fall is in a steel cage. We get a sense of how this match is going to go from the start, because after some back and forth action or whatever, Kyle O'Reilly gets the first pinfall. It's he's reversing a Panama Sunrise, and he is able to just score a pin. So he was victorious in the no DQ match that they had, but he lost to the standard match. Well, he wins the standard match here. What do you assume is going to happen with the second fall? Adam Cole's going to win the second fall because it balances it out for the 2 out of 3 falls.
And he didn't, and Kyle O'Reilly won, and that was... No, go ahead.
I like that they did that little switch up where it's like, okay, well, Cole lost the no DQ one. He wins the no DQ section here. O'Reilly loses the regular match. He wins the regular match part here. Nice balance.
Nice balance, and I think it was Callum who said that that's why they picked the matches they did, because they wanted to avenge their losses, and kudos to both men for being able to do it. This was a really intense match. This was not as epic as some of the NXT 2 out of 3 falls matches have been in the past. So I think they were just cut for time or something. But it did seem to be moving a lot quicker than I would have expected.
I do have this also on my list of match of the year candidates, but it's not as strong as the Dragunov one. So, push comes to shove, I'm not going to pick this over the Dragunov thing. But I like this from pretty much from start to finish. I don't really have anything that I can really complain about. I don't really have anything that I feel that they missed out on that they should have been doing. I hate the whole idea that kendo sticks are a thing, just because I always say that. It's just, why is it there? And I get it. It's a safe weapon. But when they started to bring some of the other things into the mix too, that, out of all the spots, the thing that got me to go, man, was the chairs on the back, because
that just looks like it's painful.
It's gotta be. Just you land with your chair, with your back on 2 different chairs, the tops of them. It's gotta hurt. So, ouch for that one. I like the little touch where O'Reilly's side was hurting him so much that when he went to run the ropes, that hurt too much. Like, that's a nice little detail. That's cool. Keeping up that storytelling.
They actually, pay attention to selling.
Instead of just acting like that wouldn't hurt because I need to set up move such and such.
Even though I'm really in a lot of pain, I need to get to the next spot.
Right.
So I'll let the adrenaline take over.
I liked the time where they both go for the same kick, then they both go for the same kick again, and then they both go for the double pump kick. Fun little things like that here and there.
Good match, though. Really fun. I think Adam Cole has been the greatest NXT superstar in history.
I lean more towards Gargano, but Cole, if not the runner-up, would be the guy that would beat him for it.
I would say Gargano, except I think the way and the comedy stuff has kind of hindered him a little bit. It's shown range, but I also feel like it's hindered the overall, Ricky Steamboat of NXT that he had going on. Adam Cole had such great consistency that, to me, he'll always be the best.
And he comes up short in this one, though, because the steel cage comes down, and honestly, not too long after that, what it felt like.
Yeah, like I had said, I really expected this to go longer. And while I definitely appreciate it, because last night was too long, I do wish this match would gotten an extra, let's say 10 minutes, just 10 more minutes of the cage.
The big thing with the cage is that Cole hooks up O'Reilly with these handcuffs, and for all intents and purposes, that should be the end of the match because he can't really defend himself all that much. Plus, you can escape the cage to win, but O'Reilly manages to get a heel hook while handcuffed, and that's how he wins. I did not see that happening.
Makes him look really good. And Adam Cole, who reportedly is out of NXT, even if he's just going to the main roster, does the favors for his butt on the way out of NXT. That's cool.
So push comes to shove. Do you think he's going to AEW? Do you think he's staying?
I want him in AEW so bad. I've made no bones about it. He's my favorite wrestler, and if he can just be in that brand with his buds, they're gonna treat him real good. It's not like on the main roster you have to worry: is he gonna be on main event after a while? Is he gonna kind of be in Shorty G territory after a while? Will he be in Applebee's manager Baron Corbin territory after a while? Here, I think if he goes to AEW, he's got a better shot of success, but I'm ultimately going to say I think he stays.
I was in the camp of, I'm pretty sure he's just going to end up staying. I don't feel that anymore.
So we know Sean reported that he
still hasn't signed.
He hasn't signed. and Johnson reported that he is out of NXT. I'm hoping that this means he's gone, but I don't think we find out tomorrow because I think the key is SmackDown. Even though, no, I take that back because SmackDown just got two big hitters in Brock and Becky.
Yeah, I don't think he's popping up on Raw or SmackDown this week. But he could pop up on Rampage.
He could.
He could pop up on Dynamite.
He could, but by the way, he does not have a non-compete. He can literally just pop up. If you need a surprise for the third Rampage, Adam Cole. If you need, hey, we got something else for you in Milwaukee for Dynamite, Adam Cole. If you need something for All Out, you got Adam Cole. It's amazing.
If AEW ends up with the roster that they had ahead of time,
plus Miro, plus Matt Hardy, plus now
Malachi Black, you've got Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, supposedly Bray Wyatt's in the mix, Adam Cole.
If you get Adam Cole, you get now you've got this trio's faction. Now you basically have all of Bullet Club before Cole left to WWE. It's insane.
Then Styles goes next, Yeah,
I wonder if he regrets not going.
I'd imagine there's at least part of him that thinks that, would have been better without staying in WWE.
Because remember, it was supposed to be him and Gallows and Anderson. And looking back at it now, it's like, oh, that's totally possible. Because we know how serious they are. At the time, everybody was probably playing chicken,
Should have been playing fine squash.
Should have. Fine squash.
William says in the chat, it's a tough question. I think Triple H would do anything for him on the main roster to make sure he succeeds, but I think his best option is AEW. I think everybody's kind of in that same sort of headspace. Everybody wants Adam Cole, if they're a fan of him, obviously. They want Adam Cole to succeed, and if that means going to AEW, then that's the best thing for him. But I think a lot of people are kind of in agreement of, we're worried about him if he goes to the main roster because we don't want him to pull a Tyler Breeze or... God, I mean, there's a list of 100 different people. The Ascension, for instance, too, of just
Dallas,
big deal in
Neville.
NXT. Once they go to there, they aren't jack shit anymore.
One of the matches at All Out is former NXT champion Neville against former NXT champion Andrade. That's amazing. What they're doing is amazing, and I think it does speak volumes that for the first time ever since they started, Triple H did not do a WWE post-show or a media call post-show. NXT TakeOver just literally went off the air. That's the first time ever.
And that's maybe just because he doesn't want to get these questions that we're talking about.
But even you didn't do a working one. Why didn't you at least do a working one?
It could be even just if you're fucking with my brand, I'm not going to bother because I don't want to be the guy who you look at and say, these are why these things are happening. Because people look at NXT and they think, rightfully so, hey, that's Triple H's baby. And if all these changes are happening where Nick Khan and Vince McMahon, and if there is anybody else that's in on those discussions, it seems based off reports that Triple H isn't.
So Tony, damn it, Christ. Nick Khan said that in those discussions, as it pertains to releases and such, it's himself, Bruce, Vince, Stephanie, and Hunter.
Not Kevin Dunn in the mix either.
Oh, yes, and Kevin Dunn.
So then that tells you right there the structure in WWE.
And it's probably Triple H's, if I had to assume anything, it'd be he's importance-wise, he's the bottom of the pecking order there. Because Vince is, of course, first and foremost. I'd say Kevin Dunn would probably be next. Bruce after that. Nick after that. Stephanie after that. And Hunter.
I would assume, talking completely out of my ass here, so people don't take this as like,
Yeah, by the way, so am I.
Yeah.
So am I.
But I would assume they all have their piece of the puzzle, and some people are just, they're overarching, where Bruce is the quote-unquote head of creative. So he's the one that could say, I don't think we can do anything with this guy, or, well, that girl's not really going to be a big focus in the future, so it's okay if we let them go. Stephanie is the brand awareness type, the one that would say something, like maybe she would have been the one that would have said, maybe we should keep Jake Atlas because we had the whole thing with, what's the boss name? Undercover Boss. I was going to say Horrible Bosses. I'm like, that's not the right thing. It was a movie, right? Horrible Bosses?
Yes.
I think so. Is it the thing with Jennifer Aniston?
I remember a blonde. It might have been Jennifer Aniston.
Kind of remember, if that's the movie I'm thinking of, then I saw that just on a whim one random day, and it wasn't really super memorable. But I assume that Stephanie fits that part, where she's the one that would say something like, well, this person's really good with the charity events, and this person really does this, and as a brand awareness type of thing, like that kind of deal. And then you've got Kevin Dunn with the production side, who, for better or worse, he says things about this person seems like a star, and this person needs to get this changed about their appearance, apparently, because it's the thing. And Triple H is probably the guy going, oh my God, we need to have like wrestlers and we need to do these kind of things. And Vince overall is the one that's kind of saying, okay, Nick, if you're the financial guy, what do you say? I'll make the judgment call. That's the recipe, I'm assuming.
About that is, I see it in my mind's eye in a similar way, but I also then think all of those parties, for all of the reasons that they are working, should be like, and Bray Wyatt checks every box for a star that we should keep.
It seems like that should be the case, right? I would love, if that is the case, because it might not be, I would love to hear these conference meetings. We never will, ever. But when we're doing like the Mount Rushmore, and it's kind of like, all right, it's the three of us. We're voting on something. A 2-1 vote ends up making it, lean towards that direction. A 3-0 vote's guarantee. If it's 1-1-1, then we have to find some kind of consensus kind of deal. Stephanie, Triple H, Bruce, Nick, Vince, and Kevin Dunn. That's 6.
Right.
So does Vince stay out of it and leaves to the 5, and he just goes, ultimately, I agree or I don't agree?
He has the word of God, though.
Like he votes for 2 kind of deal, make it 7.
Right.
Or is it just a matter of like, yeah, well, we're not going to listen to the one part for this. Or we're not going to listen to the other part. Because I'd love to hear, like you said, Bray Wyatt. You got to assume somebody like Triple H is just like, come on, he's part of the family. He's a rotunda and like he's great. We like him for this and this and that. All these other kind of deals.
And he's a good, representative of what NXT can be.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephanie goes, and he makes record merch sales, or maybe that's even Nick. And, Bruce goes, and we can do so much with him in creative.
Because Bruce guaranteed has to like the Bray Wyatt character. And then somehow Vince just goes, motherfuckers, no, it's 10 votes for no or something. Like, I don't know,
It's one of those things that it's fun to speculate about because obviously we'll never know. And, everything that we just said again is just us bullshitting. But I want to one day hear what those calls are like.
Even if it's just down the line, Bruce Pritchard does an episode of Something to Wrestle With, and he just goes, all right, I'll tell you guys. This is what we decided to do with this. This is what we decided to do with that. This is why we thought it would be a good idea if so-and-so beat this person. Or I hope that Conrad's taking notes about the weird things that have been happening, because I've lost track about a lot of these things over time. I want to hear about them,
Well, chat me up.
Multiverse Show in the chat says WWE is on fire at the moment. So many stars: Edge, Cena, Roman, Becky, Brock, Lashley, Goldberg.
Well, hold on. No. One thing I'm going to change there. Not fair to add Becky into that. Just because Becky actually got over doesn't mean you lump her in with old timers. She went away because she got pregnant. It's not like she's been gone for 10 years.
So that's the second to last match of the card.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And
NXT TakeOver is the thing. As far as like some changes to NXT, one big change is going to be that we have a new NXT champion because our main event.
For the first time ever, say it.
Yeah, okay. For the first time ever, we have a 3-time NXT champion. Samoa Joe beats Karrion Kross with the Muscle Buster. Previously kind of banned after the Tyson Kidd situation.
So much to unpack here for me. So I have been watching NXT. I was like, oh, I thought Scarlett was still with him on NXT. I was very surprised when there was no Scarlett.
And she's been missing for how long at this point?
What's it been, 3-4 weeks?
It's been a while. It's been long enough that I don't remember the last time that we saw her.
Maybe it was even in your house?
Maybe. I don't remember her in this build to the Samoa Joe thing. She hasn't popped up on Raw. Huh.
That's really bad.
And I can't really see a reason why.
I think it's the idea that Vince wants to keep her special, and then when Karrion Kross needs a kick in the ass, oh look, here's Scarlett. Now she's gonna lead him.
What if they're thinking that she might get released?
I think Kross would walk.
Because, I mean...
Crosswalk.
That could be a finisher. The crosswalk. Yeah. I'd be like, oh, he just hit the pavement with the crosswalk. But I mean, Scarlett hasn't wrestled. So are they really going to pay a decent enough price for somebody who's an indie darling that doesn't wrestle and it's just another valet?
She's tailor-made for WWE. I couldn't see them getting rid of her.
Remember, we also are in an era where they downplay the sexuality of the women as much as they used to, so you can't judge it based off of something like Sable, for instance. So if she's not the quote-unquote hot chick that's going to draw in the fans through that fashion, and if she's not wrestling, and she's really not cutting promos all that much, she's kind of getting paid to, like, hang out.
No, she was... When he came in, she was a big part of the package.
Yeah, she hasn't been for a while, though. That's what's kind of concerning about that.
I would hope that they don't let her go.
Kross is better with her by his side to kind of complete that. But, I don't know. At the very least, I mean, we saw that this was pretty much... He was either going to drop the title here, or he would have dropped it at the, the Fatal 4-Way or Fatal 5-Way or whatever it was, or just relinquish it because he's on Raw. You can't be NXT champion and be on Raw for all that long. You got to pick and choose, and between the two, why bother bringing him to Raw if you're not going to keep him on there? So he had to drop it at some point, and even though he almost retained by the hair of his toe, as somebody said on commentary, which doesn't make any sense, it makes sense for him to lose. And it's Samoa Joe. It's not like he lost against, some schlub.
It's former WrestleMania competitor.
2-time NXT champion. Bona fide Hall of Famer.
Champion. Has legitimately been on TV paired with Triple H in a character role. Joe is good. Like, Joe is somebody you can afford to lose to.
So then, who do you think is next in line to challenge Joe? You're mentioning Cameron Grimes.
I could see Grimes being like a television title match. I can see. Well, there's the obvious winner of the breakout tournament.
Which we know is either going to be Carmelo Hayes or Odyssey Jones. And they don't have to challenge for that. They could challenge for any championship, although it'd be kind of weird if Odyssey Jones challenges for the Cruiserweight title, you know? Wonder if that would be one of those deals. Like, that would be... See, I would have fun with these kind of things. I'd have at least some kind of a segment where somebody would be like, you can challenge for any championship. You know, you can fight for the NXT championship, the North American, the Crew, never mind. And then he'd be like, what? Why not? It's like, well, I mean, if it's in the contract that says you can challenge for any championship.
I think Carmelo Hayes would be a good challenge. Odyssey Jones. It's weird that there's nobody just built up and ready to go. There's Ciampa, right? Like, Ciampa hasn't gotten a shot since he faced Cole at, what was it, Portland?
I kind of think Pete Dunne is going to be the next challenge.
Oh, that'd be so good. Because that's a dream match in itself. There's also O'Reilly, who just beat Adam Cole. Now he can focus on the title. There's Ridge Holland. So they got options. They're just not fully presenting themselves right away.
And meanwhile, Karrion Kross is going to stay on Monday Night Raw from now on, we would assume. I don't think we're even going to see him on NXT anymore.
I would think no.
Because, like, what's he going to do? Say, fuck you, Joe? You know, kind of like...
Yeah, it'll be, damn it, I lost.
Right. He's not that type of character. So I think we just don't see him. And, I mean, we see him on Raw. But I think Joe comes out. William Regal, who earlier in the night had said, I'm supposed to remain unbiased, but kick his ass. I thought that was funny. I think that we get some kind of thing with Regal saying, hey, thank you for restoring order here, and we're going to make some changes around here now that Karrion Kross is gone. And then they use that as kind of one of their, here is why a lot of things are changing around here kind of deals.
As long as they give you a storyline reason.
You think Joe turns heel?
Not right away.
I could see that happening. Wouldn't shock me if it's like, things are going to be different around here. I'm champion again or whatever. And then he like hits a muscle buster on William Regal or something, you know?
It would be so self-defeating though. Like, you just came back to stop the guy who was doing this.
Yeah. But then again, WWE does those kind of storylines, don't they? It's the whole, if John Cena loses, he gets fired from WWE and you'll never see him again. And except for on Monday Night Raw, he'll pop back up and then we'll say, fine, okay, well, you're back. You know?
Well, then they'll say, oh, we had this idea for Juan Cena, but let's not do it. And let's just, he's back.
Maybe Elias is going to come back as El Vagabundo again.
That'd be terrible.
I thought that was fantastic when he did that. It's just, no, I'm not Elias. I'm El Vagabundo. Peter in the chat says, why were they standing for Arby's in this match? And Adam says, because they have the meats, and so did this match. They have the meat,
bro.
Bum, like, bum.
The meats. That sounds like Joe's theme song, too.
Yeah, it is kind of.
It's 2 meaty men slap meat.
Not to just plug Arby's here, but if anybody hasn't tried it, get the Meat Mountain sandwich. It's just a heart attack on a bun. But it's so good because it's like every meat possible. They're just like, here's lots of meats. We have the meats. Here you go. It's like roast beef and chicken and turkey and ham and cheese and, I don't know, mozzarella sticks or something. It's just sort of like, fucking eat this, you pig. And I'm like, all right. I mean, I think like 3 or 4 times. And it's just, you don't feel good afterward, but it's good.
You know, while we're all plugging food brands that we're not necessarily associated with, freaking Jimmy's John's is delicious.
They were going to talk about the fine squash again.
It's delicious. Jimmy's John's. I didn't say it like that. Jimmy John's is delicious. There's a reason they're sponsoring Brock Lesnar. Because, you know, they're great. Brock is great.
we've had enough Jimmy John's discussion on this podcast over the years, from when Drew had been there before, to like I should have eaten there at some point, but I don't think I have one around my area. So.
It's really good time.
Freaking Jimmy's John's.
Freaking Jimmy's John's.
NXT TakeOver 36 is in the bag instead of Jimmy's John's or Arby's.
It's a shame.
And we will see at least some indication of what the future for NXT has in store for us with these tapings and going forward for the next, couple of weeks, couple of months, whatever it might be, for them to settle on whatever the new normal would be, now that that's a phrase that we've accustomed to over the past 2 years, which I fucking hate. But it's a thing. Things are things. And good things were good. So this had a lot of good stuff on it. So I really like this pay-per-view.
Yeah, this is a super chill, just nice little takeover event. Nice little wrestling show to wind down your weekend. I enjoyed it.
A lot calmer than SummerSlam.
I give it 4 Jimmy's John sandwiches out of 5.
And I don't rank things, so I'm just going to say thumbs up. Tell us what you think about the pay-per-view. Tell us what you order at Arby's and Jimmy John's for some reason. I don't know, why not? More comments, the better. And
I get the Italian sandwich. It's very good. You gotta get the, the provolone, the hot capicola, the prosciutto. It's all there. It's all good. You know what I'm saying?
You're getting hungry.
A little bit of oils and vinegar. It's there.
Pass the vinegar, but
fair enough.
Yeah, keep staying tuned to everything that we got going on here. Just to kind of fill everybody in on some of the other kind of things we didn't plug before. Head on over to fanboysanonymous.com to check out what is happening over on the Blue brand. The movie reviews and things like A Review to a Kill, the series about the James Bond franchise, is still running. We have 2 episodes that are already in the bag that are coming out this Friday and next Friday. We got to record at least one more for rounding out the From Recap with Love series. And then we'll probably be trying to get into some fan tracks for maybe the Austin Powers movies.
We have to watch Austin Powers.
So stay tuned for those kind of things. We've got some other movies coming out over the course of the next few weeks, or obviously a few months, or whatever it is. The next movie I think I plan on actually actively watching and maybe making some kind of a big deal about is Shang-Chi, if I'm remembering correctly. I think that comes up at the very beginning of September. Let's see, September 2nd or so. There's a Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms movie that comes out at the end of August. Sounds like a fan track.
Watch.
That John Cena movie, Vacation Friends, is going to come out on Hulu. So
sounds like a fan track.
I'm thinking that's fan tracks, and that comes out the 27th. So that might be the next thing you might be hearing from us outside of A Review to a Kill. But I want to cover a lot of different things here and there. And if you just head on over to that website, fanboysanonymous.com, follow and share and shallot. In other words,
some shallots to the Jimmy John's.
Shallots are good. But, subscribe to that YouTube channel, ring that little notification bell, hit up the Patreon for that, and show your support, because the more support that you give for Fanboys and or Smark Out Moment, it still funnels back to me in my free time. So if you want to doubly make sure that I dedicate more towards these kind of brands and stuff, donate double. That's how it works. Or double by the join button and the Patreon, or double with the TeePublic and Redbubble shops, and double Rubble Bubble, and and Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers.
So carrying on from Tony's Hubba Bubba Max, you can follow me everywhere at Dude Felice. Check out Dude Felice on Twitter. I think I'm almost at 1,500 followers. That's cool. Check me out on Instagram. Check me out on Twitch. There is a lot of work being done there. Tony's seen it. I'm not just talking. There is work being done there. Check out dudefelice.com. That's in the works. And I got more in the works because I spent a lot of time this weekend just saying, screw it, I'm going to pay for all my side projects and force myself to do something with them. So check all that out. Most importantly, get all your wrestling news from Fightful and Fightful Select. Sean works very hard. There will be more Adam Cole news in the coming days. So check out Fightful Select. And I thank you for supporting. And we'll catch you in the next one.
And that next one is most likely going to be a look back at the pipe bomb in some fashion. We don't know when we're recording it because we still have to figure out some plans for this week. And we might change it up with something else if maybe some breaking news happens, or maybe we just have a better idea.
Mount Rushmore of memorable NXT moments now that NXT is no longer.
If they just completely rebrand and they're like, hey, it's not NXT anymore, it's ECW again, or something, we might be like, shit. You know? But it'll happen at some point, as well as the hot tags and whatever else is happening. So if you just keep staying tuned to smarkatmoment.com and the YouTube channel and wherever you're listening to us, maybe you're on iTunes or Amazon Music or Stitcher or whatever, Spotify, just, come back. Don't leave. We love you. We hope you love us too. We hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Pay-Per-Viewpoint for the NXT TakeOver 36 event. But that's it. Adios, everybody. This has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.
Ciao.